won't have to cry no more. Oh, my Lord. We won't have to cry no more. I tell you we won't, church. We won't have to cry no more. Hi, and welcome to a special edition of KISS. That is, Keep It Simple, Senorita, Senor. Keep it simple, sir. Keep it simple, sisters. We are here to keep things and information very simple, but yet very informative. We have some special guests with us today, and I'm sure you're going to be encouraged others to watch the information you have never heard. Starting out today, praise God, we're going to start with Brother Akar and move right around the table. Let them introduce themselves individually. God bless.
Thank you, Bishop Norton. My name is Akar. I'm with the African Artists Alliance. It's a youth arts, cultural arts organization based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. We were founded in between 2017 and officially legally in 2019. And I'm thankful and happy to be here today. We're going to be talking about a lot of the work that we do in terms of stilt walking and the significance behind it.
I am Kerry, they call me Macac. I'm a stilt walker as well as contributing in other areas, other things that we do at the African Artists Alliance. So I'm a leader and a learner here, and it's just great to be here.
My name is Waz. I'm a stilt walker and artist, and like my brother said, I appreciate being here.
All right, I know you guys have seen a lot, heard a lot about stilt walking there today, but let me tell you, today you're going to get some inside information that you never have available to you before. So you don't want to miss this show. Praise God. And I use as a subject today, American African culture stilt walker. I did that purposely because we're American first. Mm-hmm. Now we have an African descent and such, but our work and the things that we do is what we have done.
Right.
And so I so many times, I know, I don't want to get started, I know I was talking to my brother here a little bit earlier. We have to begin to learn to love ourselves in what we do.
I agree.
Rather than, it's sort of a thing now. If it's not foreign, if it's not something that someone has done other than ourselves, we even don't want to support it.
Right.
So I call that a form of self-hate. Is that correct? Do you feel that way?
Correct.
Absolutely.
Seen that.
So today we're talking about stilt walking. Mm-hmm. We know where other parts of the world that it come and everything, but we can't take away from the creator here. You are the producer. You are the creator of stilt walking, and I understand in great demand. You can't keep, there's so many people that want this. It's attraction, it's a beautiful thing, but it has some cultural value and background. Now, I'm not gonna do all the talking,
right.
but the thing is, I know we struggle so much as people.
Yes.
Because being black is not a race. It's not identity.
That's right.
Right.
Negro, that same word Negro is Spanish for black.
That's right.
Right.
So black is a color, but it doesn't identify who you are.
Right.
So therefore, that's why a lot of times through the years, people wonder why or y'all keep changing from African Negro, because we are evolving this understanding. We are American of African descent.
Right.
That's right.
And we want to be so that we understand who I am. Brother, I want to know who you are.
Right.
Because all the inventions, all the things that have been created in this country that we have done, we are African descent, but it was us that developed and done that ourselves as an individual.
Right.
And we need to come to the place to love ourselves. And when we love ourselves, and we can love one another. How about that?
Completely true. I agree. 100%.
So you being the director and the founder and all that, Brother Akar, tell us a little bit more about yourself and the founding of the organization.
Okay, no problem. Born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. And my family on my mother's side was always artistic, sewing, painting. My mother painted, things like that. So she actually screen printed. And my journey started at her feet. So through school, I went to school, I was very talented. My personal story, I'm just telling you a quick
Yes,
snippet.
fine, yes.
I went to school, I could draw naturally. I had a natural passion, but I never went to a formal, I had one high school class for art. Never went to a formal training or anything like that. And where I really got instruction was visually seeing the things that my mother was doing on her own time around the house. Like I said, painting, screen printing. And so being born in the 70s and coming up in the 80s and the beginning of the hip hop and all of that, and the entrepreneurial movement behind hip hop, just seeing graffiti for the first time in the 80s when we were young, Beat Street, stuff like that, being from inside of the interior of the country and not close to those cities where those type of energies was active, like, you know, in Cincinnati or the Midwest, or probably in Dayton. Seeing that stuff on TV at the time really inspired me creatively. And I knew, you know, t-shirts was going to be a thing, you know, and I didn't know it was going to be as big as it is now. But I got into screen print and following my mother in order to pursue my artistic interests, but also to make money, you know, thinking ahead. And that just led to a lot of experiences and helped me understand the perspective of an artist that doesn't have the inroad straight from a family putting them in a formal class or going to like UC or DAP or art program like that. Or in Cincinnati, we have like the Art Academy of Cincinnati. We have performing arts. And there's a lot of talented people like I was, that are young, that would be able to do a lot more if they had exposure to the means and methods, especially from people that look like them. That's always, you know, inspirational. And the African Artists Alliance is really our collective effort to make sure that we put that in place for kids that are talented, because it runs through our DNA on so many levels. So we have a lot of artists. At the time when I started this, one of the things I thought of was like, you know, how many people you see doing art in prison, and they find their talent once they get locked in, you know, go through hardship, unfortunate situations, and then they don't have any distractions, and they're able to bring their talent out. So, you know, if we just were able to influence our youth creatively, and the money that it takes, you know, put some effort, like you said, self-love, put some effort forward to create the resources for our youth to explore those creative avenues earlier before they fall into trouble. That could be a balance economically for a lot of people. And that's how this all happened, and part of my life story. And I'll
Yes, that was one of
Past
the best. That was the
conversation.
best things in the home. The development, you say, that is where it starts. At, and a lot of times people may get angry. Yes, it's okay to have a degree, but most of the people with degrees just learn how to put things in order. The
Right.
creative minds never get the attention that they should get.
Right.
Unsung, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Praise God, because I was thinking, praise God, we built the skateboards in our neighborhood.
Right. I
Now at the
remember that.
$1 billion, we made it just trying to make our own toys.
Right. Right.
And someone taking an idea, and we don't value our own ideas.
Right.
We have to value our own ideas rather than just put it out there, because now someone else make more money off our ideas than we ever. The greatest cook never wrote a cookbook. But someone listened to them was able to put it in a formal and resold it to the
Right.
public.
And capitalize. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the education, the professors and the doctors and all that, most of the information didn't come from themselves. They learned from the nobodies, so to speak, or thought they were nobody. But they were able to harbor their ideas and benefit from. And we're talking about now benefiting from our own ideas.
Right.
Exactly.
From our creativity, from what's inside,
Yes,
being inspired by what's outside.
yes.
That's right. I feel you.
So introduce yourself. Maybe you want to share there.
So my name is McCary again. And with me, with the African Artists Alliance and with the whole still walking thing, I was at a point in my life where I wanted to contribute to this, like, what I see is like a newfound appreciation of ourselves when I'm on social media and stuff like that. And this was about 5 years ago for me now at this point. So at that point, it had already been a lot of information for me to take in that other people was presenting, and this was a way for us to give something to the community ourselves, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think really that it's important because I grew up like reading comic books and watching a lot of cartoons and stuff, and I was looking for like heroes and other people's creativity to entertain me or to make me feel a certain type of way, you know what I mean? And then I come to learn that a lot of these people's ideas and whatnot come from hieroglyphs and come from things that's mostly in the African diaspora, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so this, being a Saukai stilt walker, mm-hmm. Meaning a guardian spirit stilt walker, that's literally what I grew up and became. But the actual thing, yes. Because we got this purely from inside, purely from out of need also, like you building a skateboard. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yes,
really and truly.
Yeah.
Yep, so.
That's a good point, bro.
It's been about 2 years for me up on stilts. I started out just watching these guys and making sure that people didn't bump into them when we was out at events and stuff. And now it's just like, wow, so this how it is up here. Like, wow, I get to see these faces smiling and stuff, mm-hmm. like, you know what I mean? I don't want to talk too much. I'm gonna say the hardest thing for me when I'm doing this is not talking to the kids, yes. because you're not really supposed to, it's a thing that goes along with it. You're not supposed to talk or at least talk that much. We do our own thing because it is our own thing. Yes. But still try to be about that as much, but it's just so much to appreciate though. I'm glad we did. I'm glad I met my brother right here.
Yes, yes. And I was thinking when I was talking. Likewise. I mean, when we was kids, we tried to make all those stilts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and think about those painters now. They got stilts with the eyes and walk around. And, oh my God, so many different things develop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, I'm gonna be quiet.
I'm Waz again, Waz Atun. I met Brother Akar about 10 years ago. Uh-huh. I was on the bus and I'm an artist, so I had my big art portfolio, and he asked me was I an artist, and I was like, yeah, how'd you know? And he was like, you got the big portfolio. I'm like, oh, okay. So we lost contact with each other for about 4 or 5 years, and then we linked back up again, and he had the African Artists Alliance going on, and he asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, and I said, yeah, and he asked me, he basically treated it like an interview, and he interviewed me and everything, and then he asked me if I wanted to stilt walk, and I just jumped into it like, yeah. I didn't even know why we was doing it or nothing.
Yes.
But it turned out to be the ride of our life, and it's just a really great experience. I think I bring imagination to the group, because that's what we need. That's what our children need, imagination. These screens in front of their face is taken away from their creativity. You know, it's making their minds lazy. They don't want to read a book or nothing like that. So
yes, and that put us in a bad place. It keeps us away from we become more conditioned for nothing. And the thing is, we've been pacified with nothing, having no end, and all the creativity in this. I know I'm on television, we're doing television and so forth, but sometimes it takes away, you were saying, the creativeness.
Right. Yeah.
For it take and shape your mind visually, audio, that time being quiet. As you mentioned, some of the guys get in prison the first time they get to think.
Right. That's what I was saying.
And so much time, and we couldn't have it because a lot of them, our parents so busy trying to make a living, you don't get that time to creatively relax and think. And now television and the games and everybody in their phone, they're not feeding it on their creativity, they're feeding on others.
Right.
Distractions.
And so we lose out to the development of our own creativeness, and then we began to compare our own work as being nothing because it's not like something we've seen.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I think I'm saying something.
You are. You are.
Definitely.
But it's a beautiful thing, and Brother was telling us earlier about Stilt walking. He began to tell us how you designed the costume and the meaning. I thought that was very interesting. I don't know if you want to share, or you want to share with that.
I do. Everybody's saying things that are touching on really important points. He said something really important I got to touch on. We did this out of necessity.
Okay.
And it was multi-level necessity. One of the things was we had young artists and vendors. We had things going on, but we needed to heighten our visibility.
Okay.
So the practicality of having stilt walkers, we had no idea what it really entailed from the outside looking in and just having the idea where we started from.
Yes.
But it seemed like a good idea to just promote for the children, to draw more attention to the organization. That's where it started at. But as we thought about it more, it was necessity also. We're fathers. All of us are fathers.
Okay.
So, you know, as our children grow, we still have a heart towards the children of the community. And there's a necessity because of the things that's happening to the children's minds, you know, through the media, and a lot of it is deliberate. I mean, through the technology that just the environment that we know we're in without feeding into going down the list of stuff. So it was a necessity for us to literally, it was 2019, right before COVID, right when all of that social unrest was happening,
Yes.
right before the summer of 2020. And you could feel, it's been the way that it is for quite a long time, we know. But things were coming to a head, and so standing on stilts was symbolically rising above all of that.
Yes.
And also, in order to do that, we had to put aside the strife, struggle, fighting to free ourselves mentality, and just step into the position of who we are if we just are ourselves without the idea of having to struggle to be free.
Yeah.
And what will we do? Like if you get above the surface of storms in an airplane, and it's clear up there, that's where we were at, and trying to create a way, symbolically and artistically, for our children to see that, and to think creatively above the muck and the mess that was going on, to the world outside of what's been imposed. You know what I mean? Just conditionally in the neighborhoods and so on and so forth. You know.
So they got a bird's eye view.
Yeah, the whole idea is elevation.
Yes.
You know, in terms of mind state, and like you were saying earlier in our conversation, it starts with the mind before anything manifests materially. So knowing that that's where a lot of stuff was messed up, the idea of stilt walking, and this is where we started to learn about what's happening when different tribes throughout the world are doing their rituals and ceremonies and how they construct these things. It starts with the intent behind it, and then going to embody that, like take that journey, and take things from just the concept and an idea to actually working the idea out to a real living thing like you see now, where it has the effect of jumping past everything somebody's thinking about directly right into their subconscious mind. And we're doing that on purpose.
Yes.
And the costumes and the mask and the stature of the stilt walkers is all a part of that, because it's so extraordinary. It's outside of what you would see on a daily basis. You don't see that every day. So when you see it, you're immediately, your everyday thinking conscious mind is arrested, and your subconscious mind opens up.
Yes.
And you go, what is that?
And I'm sure you get a lot of ideas from the steps up there, don't you?
Yeah.
And you look down. That's the creative. I love being creative. I used to tell my sister, she wrote 10 books, but she's a writer too. I said, you know something? We are strange. That's what I tell her. Creative people are strange.
Yeah.
The good book said you're peculiar. I look at the word peculiar, strange.
Yeah.
You're strange to what normal people think they do. And I like that.
Definitely.
I like that. I remember they had keychains years ago, and they put the little locks together and so forth. And one day I just got to messing around, and I made a choker out of it. I never forget red and blue interlock, a little red in the round one in the middle cherry. Somebody looked at me and said, "What's that?" "Oh man, that's crazy. What you doing?" That's me, that's what I'm doing. Guess what? It wasn't, my God, it wasn't probably a next month or two. I started looking around, everybody started little old chokers made out of the same keychain.
Wow.
We are afraid to do things a lot of times ourselves.
Right.
And because we're trying to measure it by someone else. But we have to measure it by our own intellect, what's within us. The great songwriters. That because somebody sung something that was never sung before. There wasn't bold enough to say, "Hey, I tried this, I don't care whether they like it or not, this is me."
Right.
Louis Armstrong, he had a old raspy voice like I'm talking now. But he was a paper boy, he was a herald. So that messed up his voice, he was a trumpeter. But how in the world he become a household voice?
Right.
"Hello, darling." Everybody looked for it. It wasn't something that it was unusual, but it was special because it was him.
Right.
And I know I think the brother, when you was out there in the park, and I knew he wanted to interact. I think I reached up and he gave me dap for a little bit of dap. because that's something we did back in the day. Dap. That's all. I feel what he's saying. You look at the children really want to interact.
Yeah.
Because there's something that when you're in the public, you really pick up so much, the vibes.
Yeah.
And that's something my parents and early part in the years when we didn't have a television, all we had to listen to was the radio.
Right.
And when they used to tell those stories on the radio, oh boy, we had an imagination. What we see, we imagine.
Right. That was still intact. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You was going to tell us a little bit about the costume and the dress and you putting it together.
Yes. So throughout that process, when we got to dressing the stilt walkers, once we learned how to actually walk on stilts, it all happened very fast because through Vinden, we already had an opportunity to stilt walk before we really knew how to do it.
Yes.
So we had to hurry up and learn how to walk on the stilts. And then we went out. The first time we went out, we had a full top and bottom of like sackcloth or burlap. That's what it looked like. And then the next year, we knew we needed to improve. We had the full color mask, but we had sackcloth uniforms. So we went to the thrift store and we started selecting scarves that had animal prints or good prints on them that we felt had a good energy, and we made sure that it was lightweight material because it's practicality, always practicality too. We knew we'd be on the stilts in July and August, in the height of the heat of the summer, and out there under the sun for 4 or 5 hours at a time at least. Yes. So we made sure that we got thin material and practicality and thrift, not going directly to Joann's and just spending all the money on extravagant fabric when the things that we got from the thrift store have living energy in them, So we took that, and my mother's a sewer and a seamstress. We all sat and worked together to sew the scarves together in like one big long sheet, and then we cut them into the outfits that you see now. All without knowing that those are standards in certain African cultural practices, like in Ifa, when they're dealing with the Igun or Igungun is the name of their ancestors. Okay. And when they do respect for their ancestors, just very straightforward and simple, keeping it simple, that's what it is. They're help me remember exactly what I was just saying.
I mean, you were talking about the different cloths, the sackcloth, and the different things. Symbolic.
Igungun, there you go. In Africa, Ifa, the Igungun represents the ancestors, and the way that they dress them is with pieces of cloth, multicolored pieces of cloth. It's not just one one piece of material. In certain tribes, it's a lot of different ways that they honor their ancestors in the different tribes throughout the diaspora. So speaking of stilt walking specifically, and masquerade, because they call it masquerade in a lot of African countries, being a French word, and a lot of African countries spoke French.
Yes.
So they call the costuming of tribal practices masquerade. Trinidad does a lot of masquerade and a lot of stilt walking, and they have characters that represent the ancestors that have the same thing. Cut pieces of cloth that make up the whole costume. So we were doing things in parallel without externally doing any research or having that knowledge first, just going from practicality and basic reasoning, like our own actual minds, and then I think tapping into something in our DNA that shows a connection in nature, innate,
Yes.
between us and the rest of the diaspora. And like you said, a lot of times that's overlooked and we're put in a category like we're not part of the original creation, when we most certainly are. So
Very much so.
That's-
Very much so. And I got my PhD when I was 17.
wow.
Public high school diploma. How you look at things,
Right,
how you perceive things.
right,
And the thing is, you can be, temptation say, you be what you want to be.
right,
Huh? But the thing is, we have to have the right mindset
right.
to be said. We was at the Cultural Fest this year, and I have a clip here. We going people. I know you guys don't usually talk, and I understand because, but you don't have to be ghost today. You understand? But it's coming to habit. I don't know if you have a set there ready there, director, but we're gonna bring up a clip from this year's African American Cultural Fest right here in Dayton Edge Park.
Hey, greetings. This is Akar from the African Artists Alliance. We're out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Happy to be here at the 2025 Dayton African American Cultural Festival. We are with stilt walkers today. We bring stilt walkers every year. We've been up here for the last 3 or 4 years consecutively, sharing a remembrance of the ancestors with the people in its traditional form. This is done all over the diaspora, in the islands, and throughout Africa, West Africa, South Africa, and we brought it here from us, the people of North America, right out of Cincinnati, Ohio, right out of the Midwest, so that we can keep the culture active in the minds of our youth and pass it forward into the next generations. This is Brother McCurry. This is Was, one of our stilt walkers. And traditionally, usually they don't speak because they represent the ancestors, but right now, today, we're gonna break that tradition so that we can invite people into the actual practice so that we can spread this and more people can participate with us. So, Was, for a minute, just say a few words.
We represent the ancestors.
Speak really loud.
We represent the ancestors, and we're here to spark the imagination of everyone. And
He said we represent the ancestors and we're here to spark the imaginations of everybody that lays eyes on us. Good job, Matt.
Hello, hello. I just want to say it's an honor to be here, and I'm glad that this is going on so we have the opportunity to honor our ancestors and our community the way that we are today. So much love to everybody, and thank y'all for inviting us out.
Exactly. Thank y'all for inviting us out. Thank you, Dayton, and we hope to see y'all again for many more events.
This is Was, our senior still walker.
Nice to meet you. We want to thank y'all again for having us here, and y'all beautiful spirited. Every time we come here, we enjoy ourselves, and you guys enjoy yourself, and that's why we're doing this. You know, like my brother said, we're doing this to connect with you guys and to represent the ancestors, and let you see that we're just like you. You know, that's about it. So,
My name is Matt Gack. That's what I go by or whatnot. I'm the newest member of the still walking team here, so I had the chance to see my brothers on stilts representing Moko Jumpy, the same way you guys do. And I was inspired enough to finally give it a shot myself. And my first time doing it, my first time trying, I was not successful, to say the least. And it took me about, I say, 2 years before I finally got mentally prepared enough to get back up on the stilts and take the responsibility. And I say it's one of the best things that I have ever did, because just like this audience that I'm seeing here, I see a lot of people here that look just like my grandmother that's passed. And in this park, I seen a lot of, we have spoke to a lot of little children and put some smiles on some faces and really touched some people, I could tell. And it's just a great opportunity for me to be able to give back to the people that taught me so much. And I mean, I'm just really appreciative of that fact. So it's like 3 or 4 generations that I'm able to touch, you know, from the youth to the elderly to those who passed on. And it's a great experience. I give thanks to the ancestors for allowing me to be able to honor them and come and do something for all of us. So like my brother's been saying, this is coming from within to all of us, and it's not something that's being given to us. It's something that we are actually given from within and spreading it around the world. So I just appreciate y'all inviting us back here again and giving us an opportunity to showcase that. Thank you very much.
All right, praise God. That was a clip that we had partially. Some of that won't be on this particular show, but you have the full thing here.
Okay.
That gives us a little bit more information to what you did this year down at the Black Cultural Festival. And what do you have to say? I mean, sitting there watching and the information you've just shared with the public today.
I can hear in our voices how much it was taken out of us physically to do that. Up until that point, I could tell we was kind of out of breath and stuff, you know what I mean? And we saying a lot, you know what I mean? So, but it's all a part of, it's all a result of what we was doing that day, being out in the sun and interacting with people, being in these costumes and in these masks, and you saw everything that was on my face, you know what I mean? It does take a little bit of effort, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But most definitely, well worth it.
Well, you know, we have politician debates here sometime, and believe it or not, those politicians with and and when we let them see, hey, can y'all redo that? No, we can't keep going redoing that. It's just human. It's being natural. It's being real. I like things to be real. You know, it's good to be able to dot every I and cross every T sometime, but everyday people need to know that we are just that, just like you are.
Right.
And the things that we do, you can do.
Right.
If you set your mind to it, whatever it is.
Most definitely.
Right.
Yes. And so it's so many things that we hold ourselves back, but we have to begin to have more self-love.
That's right.
Because we've been taught to hate ourselves and to hate to somebody look like us. And you hear the old saying about when a crab get in the bucket and one start coming and pull it back down?
Yeah.
Because it's what they're thinking is, you can't do that because I can't do that, so you're in the same bucket I am. No, I'm not in the same bucket because I'm beyond in thought process and mind. I'm not limited. I'm not limited to what you or anyone else think about me.
Exactly.
We have to be bold enough to be who we are.
Exactly.
That's all about being creative.
Right.
And be creatively okay. That's right. Because the good book says, love your neighbor as yourself. If I don't love me, how in the world can I love you?
It's impossible. It's
Church
impossible.
begins where? At home.
That's right.
And that's what we have to give our children, to know that whatever you think, I might not understand what you're doing, but it's creative that's coming from you. Not be ashamed to be who you are.
Right.
The greatest writers, the greatest songwriters, is because they dare to be them.
That's right.
Somebody wrote a song, Gotta Be Me. Right, praise God. I know it's a whole lot of stuff we were going to say, But that little interruption, I know it got on a loop or something, but
No, yes.
but you know, I know the train of thought, and you were talking about the reasoning. And I remember you talking about the burlap.
Yeah.
It represented something. Everything we do, we know back historically, the braiding of the hair, maps and so forth.
Yeah.
That the quilts, all of those things were messages, and wasn't just what it appear on the surface.
Exactly. That's what this is too. And we were saying that amongst ourselves in a private conversation that this is communication.
Yes.
And it's a message. It's a language.
Yes.
And then we started learning this language and we realized other people that still walk speak the same language. There's similar phrases in terms of the cloth or how you have to get up on the stilts or the movements, all of that stuff. So absolutely, it's a language. And then you mentioned something earlier. Getting on the stilts is largely also for us, the whole entire process, even to getting here, is about overcoming fear.
Yes.
Because like you said, fear is that big, giant monster that's in the way of accessing all of our creative power collectively.
Yes.
A lot of times that's the first and last frontier.
Mm-hmm.
And so this entire thing, literally getting on the stilts, first time we tried to stilt walk, we all fell, just in practice.
Yes.
And learning how to not fear that, and then also falling in public, in costume, on the set, and having the crowd cheer us on and help lift us back up, and understanding it's going to be okay, and continuing to persevere, and then being able to pass these principles on in action. It's just a form that's accessible that we have to encode these principles and then pass them on.
Yep. The old saying out there, if you fall off the horse, get right back up on it.
Yep.
Rather than go around and think about it. The more you think about it, then
You'll never ride again. Yeah.
But I see you brothers do some steps up there, so I mean you get pretty good. I said, wait a minute.
Yeah. By now, this guy is he spins his stick. He spin the staff and do all the extra stuff, running and jumping on the stilts.
I done failed more than once though. So,
All right.
It's just the courage of getting back up.
Yes.
And touch on what he said about fear. Us as a people, we fear working together. That's what I see us doing, and it's overcoming. No matter what our beliefs are, or whatever, we work together as a people. Because there's so many ways, there's so many excuses to not work together. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we just got to get past that, and that's what we're doing.
And that's part of the creativity source also.
Right.
Being able to be all right with being all right.
Right.
With your ideas, being all right. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if we could pass that part of the torch on to the next generation, that our young people don't feel like they have to be okayed by everybody. It's okay for me to disagree. It's okay for me not to agree with you.
Right.
Because if everybody was the same way, boy, I sure wouldn't want to look around and everybody look like me. I mean, what kind of world would that be?
Bland.
Oh, goodness. All right, I understand you guys, not only in the stilt walking, I know, but you have other entrepreneurship things that you're doing and so forth. And I was thinking about, I write poetry. And sometimes when I write poetry, different people get different things out of it. Sometimes I enjoy what they get out of what you heard.
Right.
And if you knew what caused me to write it, it's probably totally different
Right.
than what you perceive. But that's what makes the world go around. We get ideas from an idea.
Definitely. I experienced that as an artist and a painter. What someone might see, especially in a abstract type of piece or indirect piece, or what people might think our reasons for stilt walking might have nothing to do with why we're really doing it,
Yes.
but they see it anyway.
Yes. And they enjoy. And one brother from Shackleford, who was putting the Cultural Fest together and doing different things, and he wanted information as well as entertainment. And so he come up and made up a word, infotainment. Infotainment.
Okay, like that.
And the thing is, that's something we do all the time without thinking. We create a whole nother language amongst ourselves. You're talking about slang.
Yeah.
You go to a different neighborhood and be lost.
Yeah.
Because everybody picked up on a different type of way of communicating.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing to be able to communicate and create.
Yes.
I remember years ago they had Pig Latin and all these little things that would create.
Yeah.
And that's a process of learning and not being ashamed to take a fall, not being ashamed to fail.
Right.
Because if we don't fail, we never know how to succeed.
That's true. That's it.
Failure is a step to success.
Indeed, it is.
To be appreciated.
Yes. Now, I'm going to ask you all, it's not going to be nothing hard, but each individual, if you're talking to some young person out there, whoever may be looking today at this particular show, from your heart, summarizing all the things that we've thought and talked about today, what would you say in your own words in seeking to pass the torch? Whether it's a relative of your own or a young person needing to have that little extra edge of hope that I can do it. It's not impossible. The sky is the limit.
Mm-hmm.
One of my singing groups, that praise God, that I talked was like, they have the title, Heavens Unlimited. Wherever you want to start.
I would say love yourself.
I would say, believe in yourself. But you know, I know some people, some children need to hear that because they haven't heard that. But knowing what I know now, I would say even more importantly is to know yourself. Believe in yourself and know yourself. Know that knowing yourself is believing in yourself.
Okay.
Man, that kind of lost me. But they were just talking about fear and overcoming fear.
Yes.
The antithesis to fear is knowledge.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Me having a fear of heights, I overcame it by getting up on a forklift and pulling some boxes down. And, you know, it was me knowing that I got on a harness that's gonna catch me, or me knowing I'm up 2 or 3 stories, and if I did happen to slip, what I need to do is lean to the left and grab a pole or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I would say, know yourself to the point that you believe in yourself and set your goals high.
All right. Beautiful.
The first thing that comes to mind, and what I would say, what I would try to convey to all the children, any children that heard us speaking today, is that there's almost no way for anyone here to put into words how important each one of you are, how significant you are, like individually, your thoughts, your presence, the fact that you're here, and that life is not just about financial and material gain. And that's what I would focus on right there, is that no one can put into words how precious and important you are and how important your ideas are. And you may be in negative circumstances that are beyond your control. You know, things will get better. Keep your head up. You know, you want to say those things to give people encouragement to stick through whatever they might be going through. And I'm saying that collectively because we just, as a people, even if your life is fine, you look on social media, you see your own people going through stuff, and it affects us. So our youth are extremely, extremely precious, and their thoughts and their minds are extremely valuable and extremely important. And I just can't I can't literally right now put that emphasis on that enough, or I don't have the words really to express that. They're more than the future, they're everything. And we need them to be able to be here. We need them to survive. We need them to thrive. We need them to come back to life. You know, we need a type of resurrection. We do, as a people. So I would encourage them to hold on and know that they're the ones that's set to do it.
Yes. You know, I walk around with my staff a lot of times. It's supposed to be support anyway. And they ask me, what you going to do with that stuff? I think like Moses. I'm ready to part the Burgundy Sea. And he used to laugh at that. But the thing is, anything that we have in our hands, around about us, is something that we can find creatively to do with. And also be a sponge. Not that you're going to make a career out of the things you see and do, but be a sponge, because you never know where you will be able to use those little things that seem to be nothing in your life.
Yeah. Can I add one?
Yes,
Got
sir.
another one. Also, seek out the people that want to help you, that want to see you succeed, because just like we're here, there are people around you in your community. If you're old enough to hear this, like if you're in high school or something like that, and you're able to talk and communicate on your own behalf, seek out people that advocate for you, that want to see you succeed, and take what they have to offer.
And I know you guys are book, and they got to get in there early. How can we get in contact with you? Someone have a fair, a festival, or something, and desire your presence. How could they get in contact with you?
They can call us or email us, and my telephone number is 619 area code 723-5253. So that's 619-723-5253. You can text or call, leave a message, or you can contact us through our email at the African Artist Alliance at gmail.com. It's not the, but it's just African Artist Alliance at gmail.com. And we'll respond. And we also have a Facebook, Instagram page, and a website. All of those things are constantly under development and redevelopment. So we're growing. So just reach out. We're here. You know, we will connect it with as many people as possible. The truth also is that we spend a lot of time working on this in private and just making sure that we were solid in our presence and our bookings, and not really putting a whole lot of energy into marketing, because it's not a strictly a business thing. It's not just for capital, for marketing. So we weren't trying to just get booked and just run around everywhere just for $1. And as of now, speaking here in Dayton, having the opportunity to come out from behind the mask and communicate directly with people like yourself and the rest of the public, this is our first opportunity to really directly state the fact that we want there to be a stilt walking, group in Dayton from people who live in Dayton. If somebody's willing to contact us, and we can put that program together and show you how to do it. And we meant it when we say we want to share this with who's ever willing to pick it up for the right reason. So we are now about to start our public campaign. All right. And thanks to you for inviting us here and it's giving us the opportunity to speak. We really appreciate it.
And we're glad each one of you come, and we're so happy because it's some young person somewhere. The seeds that you plant today is going to inspire someone to do something similar and love themselves.
And that's why we do it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
God bless you. Heaven smile on you is our prayer.
Great.